Hi, very good morning to all of you, and welcome to the session of this Angular JS and Bootstrap training. Actually, I was waiting for more participants. That's why I'm starting this session a little late, and still only 50% participant has joined. So there are, I think, around 31 nominations we got from different centers, and right now I can see around 15 participants has joined from different centers. So I will do one thing, like I will start this session from 9:30, okay, and from next session onwards we will start the session on time, since today I'm starting for the first time, and today is the first session for this training. That's why might be some of the participants are joining late, but we will make sure to start this session from next time on time. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting the waiting for more logins slide over here, and at 9:30 I will start the training. Okay, all right. All right, so guys, after waiting for 10 more minutes, I got around 21 participants. So I'll do one thing, like I'll start and let them join, whatever the remaining participants are left. So right now I can see around 21 logins on my screen, and I'm expecting around 31 participants in this training. So anyways, let them join. I'm going to start the training because already it is 9:40. So first of all, before I start, guys, I would like to get your information because most of you are attending the session with the guest ID. So I don't know your names and your locations. So can you please type down your name and your location, means your center name in the handrails. It will be also good if you please type down your email address. So do one thing, just go to your handrails, type your name, center name and your email address, and do it in one single handrails. Write down in one single handrails your name space your center name space your email address. Okay, I got the response from Hema from Pune Deccan Center, Pranav from NIT Bomanhalli, Sujala from Jayanagar Center, Aparna Shula from T Nagar, Trichy, I think. It is showing Trichy T Nagar. Okay. Lavanya also it is showing from T Nagar. John from Porur Center, Heba from Thane, and Bhagyeshri from Panashankari Center, Bangalore. Madhuchanda from NIT Patna, Boring Road. Okay, please type down your information, guys. I'm just still waiting for your responses. I got around 8 responses till now. You need to go to your hand raise option, type your name along with your center name and email address. Okay, we got Swati also from Pune Deccan. Hi Swati, good morning. We have Poonam Joshi also from Pune Deccan Center. Okay, so I think maybe some of them are not on their seats. That's why I'm not getting the response. So once again, I'm just reiterating the names who have shared their information. Hema from Pune Deccan, Pranav is from Bomanhalli Center, Sujala is from Jayanagar, Lavanya is from T Nagar Center, John is from Porur, Heba is from Thane Center, and Bhagyashri is from Banashankari Center, and Madhuchanda is from NIT Patna Boring Road, Swati is from Pune Deccan, Poonam is from Pune Deccan, Mahalakshmi Porur Center. Okay, so these many participants has joined their information actually, and I'm still waiting for other participants to share their information. See, this particular information I need because I need to know that which all participants are joining this training and attending this training. So that's why I need this information. So you please quickly share this information in the hand raise, and then I will start. Okay, Shruti from Grant Road Center. Shruti, can you please share your email address also? Okay, fine. Alright, so let me just start, okay, and let the other participants also join. So guys, as you know that we have arranged this particular training for AngularJS and Bootstrap. I think you guys got the mail regarding AngularJS training only, but I also included the Bootstrap over here. Because I feel that if we include Bootstrap, you can really make some attractive and beautiful web pages. It is not like without Bootstrap you cannot use AngularJS. Both are different things, and the purpose of both the things are different. So we will learn Bootstrap concepts, and we will also learn the concepts of AngularJS. And no doubt AngularJS is our primary objective. Bootstrap I added additionally so that you can change the look and feel of your web pages. So mainly we will concentrate on the AngularJS, but we will also use the Bootstrap for changing the look and feel of the web page. So you know that these technologies are in demand these days, whether you are working in Java or you are working in .NET Stream or any other technology. You can use AngularJS and Bootstrap with any technology. It is not like you are learning Java, so with Java only you can use AngularJS or Bootstrap. Whenever you are making any web applications, you can use AngularJS, you can use Bootstrap. Okay, so these technologies are in demand these days, and most of the developers are using these technologies for making their websites. Okay, and one more thing I would like to tell you that before we start, I would like to tell you the prerequisites for this AngularJS and Bootstrap. You must know HTML, CSS and JavaScript. These are the prerequisites we have for understanding the concept smoothly. So I believe that all of you have a knowledge of HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Is there anyone who don't have a knowledge of any of these things? HTML, CSS and JavaScript. I hope you guys have knowledge of all these three things, because before we proceed you should know the basics of HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So you have a plus and minus button. If you have a knowledge, you click on plus, otherwise you can click on minus. I'm just talking about the basics of HTML, CSS and JavaScript. It is not like you must be very proficient in all these technologies. But the basic knowledge must be there, otherwise it will be difficult for you to understand the concepts. Okay, that's very good. So I got the response, and not even a single % response I'm getting in negative. Means everybody of you know HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So guys, those days are gone when we used to write the JavaScript code from the scratch, and we used to write very complex JavaScript code in our web applications. Because now there are certain libraries are available on the internet which makes the developer job easier. You might have heard about Jquery. Jquery is a JavaScript library, which means that in Jquery we have some predefined functions that I can call in my web page, and I can make my pages dynamic and interactive. The benefit of using Jquery is that you don't have to write every JavaScript code from scratch. All that code is already written in your Jquery file. You need to use some functions which are available in Jquery. So this means by using Jquery, you can make your work easier, and you can make your web pages interactive and dynamic easily. Similarly, if I talk about the AngularJS, AngularJS is also a JavaScript library, but the purpose of AngularJS is totally different. Okay, and definitely we will discuss all these things in detail. One more thing I would like to tell you, like as you know that we have planned this particular training for 3 days, okay, but in all 3 days I will just take the CR session from 9 to 1, and 1:30 to 3:30 you guys have to do your MR session. In MR session I also be available with all of you through the Adobe Connect. So in case if you guys need any help or any support, you can connect with me on Adobe Connect. I will share the URL on Adobe Connect after this session, and at 1:30 you can join me on Adobe Connect. Okay, so remember that the practical is really very important. Okay, for a moment you can just ignore some theory part, but if you ignored any of the practical implementation, then you will not be able to understand the concepts. So this means that you need to focus more on the practical work. At the end of this particular training, I am going to give you one assignment, and you will also have to take one exam. Okay, so that we will discuss later at, in the last day, like what assignment you have to make, and what will be the exam. Means it will be objective type exam only. So that we will discuss later, but as of now I'm just telling you that at the end of the training we will give you one assignment. That assignment will be related to those things only which I will explain you during the sessions. Okay, so AngularJS, if I talk about, I can even complete this AngularJS within 1 day. That is not a problem, because 4 hours are enough to understand the AngularJS basics. But I'm not only focusing on only basic part of the AngularJS. We will also discuss few additional things which you might have not studied earlier. Some of you already know the AngularJS. I can see some of the participants are there, just like I know Heba, I know Swati. Okay, so they already know AngularJS. But in this particular training, we will discuss a few more concepts which you might not have studied in your trainings, or might be earlier. Okay, so AngularJS, there are a lot of things we have in AngularJS actually, and the current version we have is 4, that is AngularJS 4. We don't have any AngularJS 3 version. After 2 they have introduced AngularJS 4. That might be some versioning and all these things they have introduced. So we have AngularJS 1, we have AngularJS 2, and then 4 we don't have 3. But in this particular training we are going to use AngularJS 1. There is a lot of difference between AngularJS 2 and AngularJS 1 we have. Okay, AngularJS 2 and 4, it is almost same, only few enhancements are there in AngularJS 4. But if you compare AngularJS 1 with AngularJS 2, there are a lot of differences we have. Okay, so that also we will discuss what is the difference, and how we can make our web pages in Angular. Which particular tools we are going to use, that I will tell you first of all, and I will also tell you like how you can make your pages in a much faster way. We will use some shortcuts of HTML, and that I'll show you in my Atom text editor. Okay, so I suggest everybody to please install these tools which I'm going to tell you now, and these tools will help you to create the pages, and you can write the code in a shortcut way, and also you can view the output very easily. Okay, so these are the things which we are going to discuss in our training actually. Alright, so two different subjects we have here. One is the Bootstrap and the another one is AngularJS. So Bootstrap will not take much time. I can just complete it in around 2 hours. I can complete this Bootstrap, but most of the time we need to spend on AngularJS. Okay. All right. So there are around 24 logins I can see now. Okay, that's a good number. All right. So guys, before I start this particular training, since some of you are joining my sessions for the first time, some of you might know me, and I would like to introduce myself first of all. My name is Dheeraj Kumar, and I will be taking this sessions for AngularJS and Bootstrap training for these 3 days. And I'm working in an IT from last 5 years, and my current role is training specialist on SLT. And I have around 13 years of experience in IT trainings. So this means like from last 13 years I'm in this domain only. I'm delivering trainings to corporate and non-corporate batches. And mainly I work on the open source technologies. I usually take the batches for this AngularJS, Bootstrap and Node.js, especially for mean stack. And I also have a specialization in .NET, but you know that now in IT, we don't have .NET courses. Okay, so apart from .NET, they have introduced a lot of other technologies on which I'm working, and I'm supporting on different projects also, and I'm taking training for DT batches as well in mean stack. Okay. So this is my small introduction. Jisha from Kannur. Jisha, it will be good if you please share your email address also. Okay. Fine. So I'm just going to share my screen with everybody so that you can see what I'm doing in my system. And first of all, let me tell you that what all things you require in your system to work on this AngularJS and Bootstrap. However, these things are totally optional. If you want, you can make your web pages in plain Notepad, but obviously we are not going to use this, because if we start writing the code in Notepad, then we can't even complete this particular training in 6 days. Okay. And it will be really boring to write the code in Notepad. So that's why I would recommend you to install Atom text editor. Okay, Atom is a open source text editor that you can use for creating your different type of files, like we have HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and a lot of different files you can create. So this text editor is like Notepad, but it has a lot of extra features, and that definitely you will see once I start showing you the demos. So I'm just going to open my Atom text editor. So from where you can download this Atom text editor, let me just show you first. There is an official website we have for this Atom text editor. Okay. So the website name is atom.io. Okay, you can go to this website atom.io, and from there you can download the Atom text editor. As I said that it is open source, so you don't need any license for that. You can download it and you can install it in your system. Okay. All right. So let me just open my browser here, and after that I'll show you the website from where you can download this Atom text editor. In my system it is already installed, so obviously I'm not going to install it again. So, but few things I would like to tell you. After installing Atom, I recommend you to install some of the extensions which we have in Atom text editor. These extensions we are going to use while working on our pages. Okay, and I will also tell you the advantage of these extensions. So first of all, let me just open the browser. I think my system is working a little slow, so just give me a minute. It takes some time whenever I open it for the first time, so that's why. Let me just go to Atom. And one more thing, like in this particular training, we are also going to discuss few things about JSON. JSON is a data interchange format that we use usually for interchanging the information between the application. So that particular thing also we are going to discuss in our these 3 days training, and we will work on the JSON data. Okay. Now what I'm doing is, okay, I just opened my Google Chrome browser, and I also opened Atom text editor over here. Let me just show you. Okay, so you can go to a website over here called atom.io, and from this atom.io you can download the Atom text editor. So you can see that this page will appear whenever you open this website, and from here you can download this Atom text editor. So it is showing the download option over here. In my system is a 32-bit operating system, so I can download this one. If you have 64-bit, you can go to the other platforms, or it will show you the 64-bit installer over here if you are using the 64-bit operating system. Okay, so according to your system configuration, you can download and install it in your system. So this is a website from where you can download Atom text editor, which we are going to use in this training. Okay. So once you install this Atom text editor, what you have to do is, I'm just going to open this first. Just give me a minute. I have opened, but I'm not able to switch to this. So let me open it again. Okay, so we got this. So as you can see that I just opened my Atom text editor. Once you install Atom, you will get the Atom text editor like this. Okay. Actually, I just changed the screen resolution. That's why it is not showing it properly. Just let me just shift it here. Alright, so this is Atom text editor I have. We can also use the other text editors which are available, like we also have Sublime text editor, but Sublime, I can't say that it is open source. You need to have a license in order to use it. That's why I'm not going to use that, because we will use the open source applications only. We can also use Visual Studio, which is an open source tool for making your files, but in Visual Studio there are some different type of extensions which we have to use, which is little different from the extensions which I'm going to discuss in this Atom text editor. So I strongly recommend you to use this Atom only, and whatever code I will write, I will use this Atom here. Okay. There is one participant is asking, I use Visual Studio for this. So my dear, you don't have to use that much of heavy software for making just an HTML page. Atom is a very lightweight software and it's like a normal notepad application. I hope you can understand that even just for making a small HTML page, if you are using Visual Studio, then I can't understand like this, like why we are using it, because Visual Studio is IDE which I can use for debugging and code testing and executing the application. A lot of things I can use. Okay, so there is no need of using Visual Studio over here. Yes, we have Visual Studio Code which you can use. Okay, Visual Studio Code is the another text editor provided by Microsoft which you can use, but I didn't use Visual Studio. I don't use Visual Studio very often because I really like this Atom text editor most, and because of the packages which are available in this Atom text editor. So once I show you these packages, no, you will also use Atom only. Okay. So Pranav, you can use Visual Studio Code. There is no problem in that, but I suggest you to use Atom only. Okay. I don't have any problem even if you are making your pages in Notepad, but I hope you can understand. Then it will take a lot of time for you to create the pages and write down your code. Okay. Okay. So you need to install this Atom, and the next thing is we also require some packages over there. Okay, if you go to the packages, you can see there are few packages which we already have here. There are two packages I installed in this Atom text editor. One is the Atom Beautify and the another one is Atom Live Server. This Atom Live Server is a beautiful package which you can use for starting the live server in your Atom itself, which means that you do not require any IIS or any other type of server for publishing your web pages. You can create a virtual server over there, and on this Atom Live Server you can open your web pages. Okay, and the advantage of this Atom Live Server is, like, whenever you make any changes in your web page, it will automatically refresh the content on your web page, so you don't even have to refresh your page manually. So that's the beauty of this Atom Live Server. We also have Atom Beautify, which I'm using for beautifying my code. I hope you know that whenever you write any code professionally, you add some indentions, you add some spaces whenever it is required. If you write the code in Visual Studio, NetBeans or Eclipse, it automatically formats your code and gives the indentions. But if you are using Atom, by default it will not give the indentions and everything. You have to do it by yourself. So I want it to do it by itself. That's why I'm using this Atom Beautify package, which will automatically beautify my code and will add the necessary indentions in my code. Okay, so that also I'll show you there. And one more package I'm just using over here, which is Emmet. Okay, I think yeah, it is there. So Emmet package I'm also using. Emmet is the another package which we can use for using the shortcuts for HTML. Okay, you can write the code in a much faster way if you have installed Atom in your Atom text editor. Okay, sorry, Emmet if you have installed in the Atom text editor, right? So let me just give you one example. What I'm doing is I'm just going to create a new folder first of all, and for this, just give me a minute. Let me just adjust a little more. Okay, fine. I hope this is fine. So now I'm just going to File and I can say Add Project Folder. And when I click on this Add Project Folder, we are going to use we are going to D drive, and in D drive I'm just going to write here Angular training. Okay, Angular training. That folder I'm going to create here, and all my files we will put it inside this only. So here I'm just going to make one folder again, that is web app. So any name we can give it over here, and inside this folder only we are going to make all our files. Okay, so you can see that we got a folder over here called web app. So this folder is right now empty, and we don't have any files yet. Hema is asking, do we need add-ins for such packages, or it's getting available by default in Atom? If you want to install these packages, by default it is not there. Whatever packages I told you 3 packages over here. One is Emmet, second one is Beautify, and the third one is Atom Live Server. Beautify is optional. If you don't want to use, you can ignore that, but I really like it because it automatically beautifies your code and makes your code much understandable. So that's why I suggested you. If you don't want to use, there is no need of installing it. So let me show you like how you can install these packages in your Atom. So by default you will not get all these packages. You have to install it manually, and for this you can go to File, and we have here one option called Settings. Okay, when you go to Settings, it will open up this screen where you can go to Packages. Okay, so when you go to Packages here, you can search for a package which you would like to install. So for example, I would like to install the Emmet package, so I can simply write here Emmet. Okay, so once I write Emmet, it will show you the package here. Since in my system this package is already installed, that's why you can see it is giving me the option as Settings, Uninstall and Disable. However, in your system, if you are doing it for the first time, it will give you the Install option here. Got it? Similarly, I also have here the Atom Live Server. You can see I am just writing Atom Live, and it is searching this Atom Live Server. So this Atom Live Server is the another package made by Jquery. So you just remember this name because there are some duplicate packages are also there. Okay, so this one you need to install, Atom Live Server by Jquery. Okay, so you can see that how many users have downloaded this particular package. So you can just download, install it, and then it will get added in your Atom text editor. So that's how you can do it. So just go to Settings, go to Packages. Here you can write the name of the package which you want to install, and we'll list out over here, and you can install. So make sure that the internet is connected in your system, otherwise you will not get these options. Okay. Okay, so this is how you can install the packages. Whatever required packages are there, you can install it like this. So how we can create a project, I just told you. We can go to the file, and there we have add project folder. So when you go to add project folder, it will open up the Windows local browser, where you can select the folder in which you want to create all your files. If there is no folder, then you can make the folder and you can select that folder. Okay, so this is my empty folder which I just created, and the name of the folder is web app. Now inside this folder only I'm going to add some files. So the very first thing which I'm doing is I'm just going to show you how you can use how you can make an HTML file. So it's very simple. Just right click and say new file here. You can see we have an option. Right click on the folder and say new file, and here we have this option to mention the name. So for example, I'm just giving a name called index.html. I recommend you to give the name of your first default page as index.html. Why so? Because when I start my live server, Atom Live Server, it will automatically search for this index.html. I hope you might have seen this thing in your other web applications, that whenever you create any website or whenever you get any predefined templates, it gives the name of the first page as index.html. So that is pre-configured in most of the servers, that whenever it starts the server, it search for that index.html file. So that's why you should give the name as index.html, and I'm just creating this page here. So you can see I got this file index.html. Now since I'm using Emmet package in my Atom text editor, writing an HTML code is really easy. Okay, you don't just have to go to your file and type HTML and then body and then head and title. You don't have to do it manually. What you can do is you can simply say exclamation sign. Okay, I'm just increasing the font size. Okay, I'm just writing exclamation sign over here and I'm pressing tab. So you can see the moment I press tab, you will automatically get this basic HTML code which we require for creating the HTML page. And how we are getting it? This is just because of this Emmet package. Okay, so this means that Emmet package gives you some predefined shortcuts which you can use for writing the code in a much faster way. Okay, so that's what you can do, and you can see that if I'm using that exclamation sign and pressing the tab key, it is giving you all the basic tags which we usually require for making the HTML page, like doc type HTML, HTML head, meta, title, everything is there. In case if you are writing only HTML here, okay, you can see I'm just writing HTML and then I'm pressing tab. So we are getting this HTML. We can press enter. Okay, so HTML and then I'm pressing enter here. Oops. Oh, I was expecting something else actually. Okay, so it is not showing. Might be like we can do it with exclamation. Actually, I was using some another version earlier of Atom. I just upgraded my version over here. So that's why it might be only HTML is not working. So exclamation definitely will work. So when I write exclamation and then if I press enter, you can see automatically we are getting this basic HTML code which we require for making the basic HTML page. So that's a really very beautiful tool. Okay, and it makes your code a little easier, and very easily you can write the code over here. Okay, and I can tell you a few more things, right? So let me just save this first. Okay, so when I save this, you can see that automatically it has added all the indentions and spaces wherever it is required. And how it is doing so? That is just because of that Atom Beautify package. Okay, so for example, I'm just going to write here one tag like this. Let's say div tag I want, and in my div tag I would like to add a class called class1. So usually how do I write? I write like this, div tag class equals to class1, and then I can close this div tag. Okay, that's how we usually write our code. So you can see that this div, it is showing at the left hand side only, and if I just save it, you can see automatically it has added the indentation, added the space over here. So how it is doing so? This is just because of that Atom Beautify. Okay, am I saying I've just installed Atom but no menu bar is available? No menu bar is available. How is that possible? Can you just press Alt F, or any even if you press the Alt, most probably it will show you something. Okay, so that's how we are just using these things. So one more thing I want to tell you. So as I said that if suppose you are writing here, okay, you got it, fine. So as I said, when you are writing your code, normally, okay, it takes a lot of time. So same line if I want to write it, just like I was writing earlier, but this I was typing it by myself. Now how to use shortcuts? I can simply say div dot +1 tab. So you can see automatically I'm getting this particular code. How do I use classes? We know we use dot sign. So in Atom there are a lot of shortcuts are there which you can use for adding your elements and showing adding anything. Okay. The same way, for example, I would like to link my style sheet. I can simply write link and I can press enter. So the moment I press enter, you can see automatically it has added the complete line link rel equals to style sheet href equals to the style sheet name. Now you just go and you can change the name of your style sheet reference. Okay, so that is really very interesting and a beautiful tool we have called Emmet. This is a package we have in Atom text editor which you can install and you can use some HTML shortcuts. Okay, the same way, for example, I'm just going to create a table. So you know that in table we use a lot of tags. Okay, we use table, tr, td, sometimes we use th, sometimes we also use t-head, t-body, t-foot to make the sections. So this means a tag inside another tag we have to write. So if this is the case, you can do it very easily with the help of Emmet. How you write here is, you can say table, inside table I want t-head, inside t-head I want tr, and inside tr I want th. And th I want 3 th I want, or 4 th I want. So what I can do is I can say multiply by 4. Okay, if I press enter, you can see the structure I got. So it is so easy and it is really very interesting thing. Okay, so when I saw this for the first time, I was really impressed with that. Okay, and because it saves a lot of time in writing all that kind of a code, and you don't have to just spend the time in writing your tags and everything. Okay, so you got this all thing. Now what you can do, you can simply write the name of the columns. Okay, so name I'm writing, and then I can say the email, I can say the address, I can say here phone. So very quickly I just created one row with one some th tags over here. Okay, so you can find out some more references on the internet if you do some research on Google or some online videos. There you can get some idea. Okay, but I've given you some basic idea over here how you can use this Emmet package and what are the different type of shortcuts are there. Okay, so that's really nice. So this is how you can actually set up the environment and what all things we require for this training. And obviously you must have browser. So browser, I suggest you to use Google Chrome. Okay, Google Chrome or Mozilla you can use. I will not suggest you to use Internet Explorer. Please don't use that because sometimes we are going to write some JavaScript code or some other code which will not reflect. Okay, I've seen a lot of discrepancy actually in Internet Explorer sometimes. That's why I really don't like this browser. I strongly recommend you to use this Google Chrome, or also you can use Mozilla. Okay, but if you are using Google Chrome, that's fine, there is no problem. Okay, so these are the few things which I told you, and these are the things which we require in our system. Okay, so that's the only requirement we have for working on this AngularJS and all. And as I said, that obviously it is not at all mandatory to install all these things. You can even create your web pages in your normal Notepad application. But you know that if you are making your web pages in Notepad, you can get many errors sometimes, or maybe it will also take a lot of time for you to write the code. So that's why, to avoid all these things, we are using Atom, which gives you some beautiful packages and that can be used for making your job easier. Okay, so I hope that this is clear to everybody, whatever I just told you. If yes, you can click on the plus sign, please. Guys, you are free to ask any questions at any point of time whenever you are finding any problems. Okay, don't just wait for me to complete and then only you will ask the question. You can ask your question at any point of time. There is no problem at all. Okay. Okay, so one more thing, like those who have joined the session late, can you please share your information in the hand raise? I got 30 logins now, so please go to the hand raise, type your name, space, your center name, space, your email address. Okay. So this information I want from all of you. So those who have not yet shared their information, please share your information in the hand raise. Tushar, the ID which you are using, it is showing Sarika. So might be you are using someone else's ID. You can use the guest ID also if in case you don't have your ID. I don't have any problem. Okay. Okay, I got the response from Jayashri, Vikas from Bijay, Kavita and Jisha, Mohammad Azruddin, Rajni from Palam. Okay. These are the only participants. Okay, we also have Madhu Chanda from Patna. There is one participant I can see. The ID which you are using is Shimla, and you are only sharing your email address, my dear. Roy Sayani. I request you to write your name as well as your center name also. Okay, so there is one question I am getting from one participant. Is Atom Live Server similar to Ajax? No, my dear. Don't get confused. Atom Live Server is just a package which is giving you the live server that can be used to publish your pages and show you the output in the browser. Ajax is a totally different thing. Ajax is a technology which we use for asynchronous communication. So that's a totally different thing. Don't compare these two things. There is no such, we can say, similarity between these two. Okay. The purpose of Atom Live Server is different, and Ajax is a technology which we use. I joined session late because of network issue. Please brief me Atom once. So I didn't explain anything related to the Angular JS and Bootstrap. I just explained like how you can install Atom. So you just go to your atom.io website from where you can download this Atom text editor and install it in your system. That is what I just explained. Okay. Can we use Sublime tool? I will not recommend you to use Sublime tool because it is not open source. Okay, Atom is an open source text editor for which you do not require any license, and there are some packages we are using in the Atom text editor which makes your job easier and you can make your pages easily. Okay, so that's why since I'm using Atom, I suggest you also to use Atom so that you can follow me. Okay, alright, and one more request, all of you, it will be good if you please note down everything instead of doing it in your laptops or in your systems. Okay, so please don't try to do the similar things whichever I am doing in my system. Okay, it can confuse you, and I suggest you to please note down everything and do it in your MR session. That's why we have arranged 2 hours of MR between 1:30 to 3:30. And I will also be available between 1:30 to 3:30 during your MR session on Adobe Connect. Okay, I will share the login, means the URL with all of you on your email address. So please don't write down your codes as of now in your system, whatever I am doing over here. Okay. There is one participant is saying, hi, I'm not able to install these 3 packages. If I search through installed packages, I'm not getting the package name. So my dear, how you can get the package name if you are going to search it in the installed package? Because it is not installed in your system. You don't have to go to the install, my dear. You have to go to the packages. Install, if you go, it will show you all these packages which are installed in your system. Okay, these packages are not yet installed, right? You have to go to packages and here you need to search. Okay, so here you need to search over here. So already there are 83 packages are installed. Obviously I have not installed all of them. Some of the packages you will automatically get when you install Atom, but whatever packages I installed manually, I told you. Okay, so these are all the packages I actually installed. Fine. Okay, so this is what we just require here. Now let me just show you how we can use this Atom live server. Okay, for this I'm just hiding my video for a moment so that you can see the full screen, and I'm just adjusting this window here. So this is my Atom text editor in which I am writing the code. I'm changing the title here, and I would like to start the server. So how do I start? I can simply go to package. Here we have Atom live server and we can go to start server here. Okay, so once I click on this start server, what it will do is it will open your page in Google Chrome or whatever default browser is set in your system. It will open that page automatically. So you don't have to open your browser. Okay, once you start your server, no, automatically it will start this server. Okay, means open this browser, and you can see that in this particular browser it is showing the web app over here. All right, I'm adjusting a little more. So now let me just write something over here. Okay, I'm just going to write something. Let's say I'm writing a heading, and in this particular heading I can say welcome to my website. After writing this, the moment I hit Control S, you can see automatically it is reflecting here. I'm not going to the browser and refreshing my page. I'm simply writing something here in my page and pressing Control S, saving the changes. The moment you save the changes, automatically it will reflect the changes in this browser. Let's see again. Here I'm writing p tag, and in this p tag I can say this is my paragraph, and now I can say Control S. So the moment I hit Control S in my Atom text editor, automatically it will refresh this page and you can see the content here. This is the beauty of this Atom live server. That's why I told you that I'm suggesting you to use this Atom live server here. Usually what we have to do, let's say if I'm not using this Atom live server and if you are making your pages in a traditional way, usually what you do, you write the code in your notepad, go to your browser and hit your F5 key, then only you get the output. Now here what I'm doing, I'm just writing the code, saving it, and automatically it is reflecting the changes. This means I can only concentrate on my code. I don't just have to go to my browser again and again and refresh the content. That's why we use this. Okay, so I really like this, and you can install it in your system also. Okay, so that is all about the packages and the environment setup. Okay, what we have to do here over here. NIT Karur Center, one participant, you are saying once again say as install packages. I'm not getting you what you are trying to say. Once again, say as install packages means. See, there are some participants who have joined very late. Okay. I request you to please join the session on time from next time. Okay. So this is a 3 days training and today is the first day. That's why I also started the session late. I started the session at 9:40. I was waiting for the participants and then only I started the session late. But I can see that still the participants are joining at 10:30. It's 10:30 now and still the participants are joining. And now I can see around 35 logins. Okay. So I request everybody to please join the session on time, otherwise it will be difficult for you to understand the concepts. Okay. So how to install the packages? We are going to settings, and in the settings we have packages, and in packages you can write the name of the package which you want to install. Okay, you just have to mention the name here. Correct. And after writing a name, you can get that package and you can install in your system. So for example, I'm just going to write here Atom Live Server. Even if you write Atom Live, you will get this. You can install that and you will get it in your system. So that's how you can install it. But make sure that the internet is connected in your system. Otherwise, you will not be able to install it, because obviously it will download and then it will install in your system. Okay. Alright. So anything else that you would like to ask, all of you, related to this setup, environment setup, and what all things we require in our system? So only two things we require: Atom and browser. That's it. We don't require anything else. Okay. Okay, so I'm not getting any questions or any hand raises. Fine, so let me just continue. So guys, I'm just going to start with making the pages with Bootstrap, okay? And after that we will move on to the Angular JS part. So what I'm doing is, I'm just going to tell you how you can use Bootstrap in your web pages. So Bootstrap is a CSS front-end framework which you can use to make your pages beautiful, and you can change the look and feel of your web pages. See, usually if you are not using Bootstrap in your website, you can still make your websites, but then you have to write all your CSS code by yourself. And writing a CSS code, sometimes it becomes very complex, and sometimes you need to spend a lot of time on writing the CSS code and arranging your content on web page. Now all these things you can do it very easily by just using Bootstrap. So Bootstrap is a CSS front-end framework which you can use to make your web pages responsive, and you can also make your pages beautiful and much attractive without even writing a single CSS code in your pages. Okay. See, the main thing which is very complex in website designing is creating a layout. Okay. Usually if you add some content on your web pages, you write h1, p tag, img, everything. It shows you in one single sequence. How do you arrange that particular content and make your website beautiful? You have to write your own CSS code. But writing a CSS code requires a lot of efforts. You have to put a lot of efforts. You must know all the CSS properties like positioning and floating and margin and padding and lot of things are there. Then only you can make a perfect layout. Okay, and in order to make the web pages responsive, you need a lot of other things also in your CSS code, like media queries, flexible images, fluid grids. These are some of the concepts which you require in order to make your pages responsive. But Bootstrap can be used for making the web pages very easily. Okay, and you can very easily apply Bootstrap on your web page. If you're using Bootstrap, you don't even have to write a single CSS code in your web page, and without writing any CSS code, you can make your web pages attractive and responsive. I hope all of you know the term responsive. What does this mean? Okay, so responsive in the sense, these days I hope you might have observed that whenever you open any website in different devices, it opens in a same format, means it does not change its appearance, and we don't make pages, different pages for different devices. In the earlier days, we used to create different web pages for different devices. Okay, sometimes you might have observed that if you open the website called Facebook in your mobile phone, the URL gets changed automatically. That is m.facebook.com. Even if you write www.facebook.com in your mobile browser, it automatically gets changed and it becomes m.facebook.com. This means it automatically identifies the device and accordingly it renders a different page. Okay, this particular approach is known as adaptive web designing. Okay, adaptive web designing, and we are not going to use adaptive web design over here. We are going to use responsive web design. Okay, so we have a concept called AWD and RWD. So adaptive web design and responsive web design. These days most of the websites are responsive. Okay, and there are many websites on the internet you can go and check. If you open that website in your mobile phone, and if you open your website in your browser, it does not crop the content, and it does not I can say overlap the content in your devices, different devices. It automatically adjusts the content based upon different screen sizes. That is responsiveness. If you don't make your pages responsive, and if you open it in a small device like mobile phone or a tablet, maybe it will overlap your content, or maybe it will crop your content because your device screen size is very small. So that's why we use responsive designing, so that it can automatically adjust the content based upon different screen sizes. Okay, and a very good example which you can see is like W3 School website. You can see that website is totally responsive. Okay, if you want I can just show you one example. What I'm doing is I'm just going to open the website called W3 School. It's a very good website and you can learn a lot of concepts from there. We also have Angular JS here, and JSON and Jquery and everything is available. So what I can do is I can simply say I'm just going to adjust this. You can see when I'm adjusting this particular page, I'm shrinking the page. Automatically it is adjusting the content, and you can see nothing is overlapping and cropping. But you will observe one thing, like when I'm reducing a size and increasing a size, it is changing the appearance of this web page. Just look at here. Just look at these links, and just look at the left hand side links here. When I shrink this web page now, you will see that these all options will be gone. It will not show you these options. So where are these options now? It is actually there in this particular menu. Okay, when you click, when you go to tutorials, you will get all these options. So actually it has not removed these options, but it is just adjusting a content in a different way, so that if you see this particular page in your mobile phone, you can still get the exact content which is available on your web page without even overlapping and cropping. So if you see this in a system, you will get this particular content like this, you can see. So again, it has changed its appearance and the layout. So this is called responsive. Okay, so your website must be responsive, and these days whatever website you see on the internet, most of them are responsive. But obviously if you want to make your web pages responsive, you need to spend, I think, 10-20% more time on making your web pages, because you need to use this particular framework called Bootstrap for making your pages responsive. Okay. Emma, you are asking how can we get head meta tags automatically or faster? See, anyways, when I'm writing this particular HTML page, and if I'm writing that exclamation and tab, automatically it is giving you this meta tag there. Okay, but you can't get all the tags automatically. Okay, suppose I'm just writing meta and I'm pressing enter, you can see that I'm getting this name and content. Okay, you can change the name. Maybe I can say author. Okay, author I'm writing, and then I can just write it the content. So for example, I'm writing my name here. Okay, that's how you can get. Similarly, if suppose you are writing here title, so title we don't have any the attributes and all, so I can simply press enter here, and you can see we got the title, and by default it is showing home, which you can change. So that's quite similar how we were writing it, the rest of the elements. Okay, so that's how you can get it. And the same way, if you want to add a head, you can simply say head and press tab, and you will get this particular head tag. Automatically it will give you the opening and closing tag there. So these are some of the predefined shortcuts we have. But as I told you that you don't have to write these all HTML, head, meta, all these tags by yourself. What you have to do, once you install your Emmet package, you can just write exclamation sign and then press tab. So when you press tab, automatically you will get this all basic HTML code. Okay, and then you can make the changes according to your requirement, whatever you have. Okay, so let's say I'm just writing here as web app, and then here I can write some content, whatever I want. Okay, so welcome to my website. Let me save this. If I go to my web page, you can see that we are getting this particular output. Okay, so that's how you can do it. Okay, so now let me just use the Bootstrap on my web page. Okay, so how do I use Bootstrap here? I will just go to my website. There is an official website we have for Bootstrap called getbootstrap.com. Okay, so I'm just going to getbootstrap.com, and here you can see that we are getting this particular page. Okay, on this page we have several options like Bootstrap, getting started, CSS, components, JavaScript, and we also have an option over here called download Bootstrap. Okay, the current version which is available over here is 3.3.7. However, they have introduced the Bootstrap 4 also. In case if somebody wants to upgrade the Bootstrap, they can do it. But we are not going to use the latest version. We are going to use this 3.3.7 only. There are few changes we have in Bootstrap 4 and Bootstrap 3.3.7. Okay, they have introduced few more things actually, which was not there in the previous Bootstrap. But the rest of the things are same. How do you apply and how do you make your pages responsive? That is totally same. There is no difference. The only thing that they have introduced few more things in the new version of Bootstrap, that is Boost 4. Okay, So download Bootstrap, you can simply click download Bootstrap. What you will do, it will show you this particular page where you can see we have these options. Okay, so download Bootstrap, download source, download SAS. These are the options we have. Which particular version should you download and like add in your website? So you should download this one. Download the compiled and minified series. Okay. When you should download source code, in case suppose you want to make some changes, you want to customize it according to your requirement, you can download the source code. When you download the source code, you will get a CSS file which you can edit. Okay, because it will show you simply just like you usually create your CSS files, where you can make your changes over here. Okay, and in the download Bootstrap compiled minified CSS, it will give you the minified version of CSS file. You cannot add it. You know that if you do minification of your code, it removes all the unnecessary comments, indentions, white spaces, line breaks, and it shows you the code in a single line. Okay, so you will not be able to change that. It becomes very complex for you to understand, but the source code you can understand easily. So depending upon the requirement, we can do it. However, we are not going to make any changes in the existing Bootstrap file. That's why we are going to use this one, compiled and minified CSS. So once you click on this download Bootstrap, it will give you a zip file inside which it will give you few predefined folders and files. Okay, in my system I downloaded this many times, so that's why this folder is already there. Let me show you. Okay, Uday Kiran is asking, is Bootstrap 4 is alpha version? I think you are talking about the beta version, so you can say that. Okay, because that is not released on this particular official website. Okay, once they will get the stable version, they will give you the download Bootstrap as current version as 4. So you can say that Bootstrap 4, it is not yet stable version. Okay, it is still a beta version available. Okay, all right. So there is one participant who is asking what is SAS. See, SAS is the another CSS preprocessor we have. SAS stands for Syntactically Awesome Style Sheets. Okay, it's a CSS preprocessor which you can use to make your style sheets much easier way. Okay, usually you write your style sheet code in CSS. We can write this style sheet code in our SAS also, but ultimately you have to compile your code from SAS to your CSS only. Okay, so we are not going to talk about this particular SAS because this is out of the scope of this particular training. But for your information, I can just tell you that SAS is a CSS preprocessor which you can use for making your style sheets, just like we create in CSS. Why do you use SAS? Because writing the code in SAS is much easier, and it gives you a lot of flexibilities also, like declaring variables, nesting the styles, and creating the mix-ins, and a lot of things which you can do, which is not possible in simple CSS files. Some kind of mathematical operators also you can use in SAS, which is not allowed in CSS. Okay, so that's why we use this SAS. Correct? So anyways, you have to use this download Bootstrap, the compiled and minified CSS there. So once you download this, as I said, that you will get the zip file. So just give me one minute here. I'll show you this. Is it a kind of JS and CSS combination? Which thing you are talking about? kind of JS and CSS combination? Bootstrap, or are you talking about Sass? Okay, Sass. No, Sass is not a combination of JS and CSS. As I said, that Sass is a CSS preprocessor. Sass can be used for creating your CSS files and writing your CSS code in a much easier way. There are a lot of things which you cannot write in CSS. By using Sass, you can very easily write those things. Just like declaring a variable. Do we have a flexibility of declaring a variable in CSS? No, but in Sass you can do it. Do you have a flexibility of using the mathematical operators in CSS? No, but in Sass you can do it. So these are the things which you can which you can do it in the Sass. Okay. So how to declare variable in CSS? My dear, I'm saying that we cannot declare variable in CSS. That's what I'm telling you. We cannot declare variable in CSS. That's why we use Sass. Okay. So Sass we are using for all those things which we cannot do in CSS. Alright. So the full form of Sass itself is syntactically awesome style sheets. Just like we make style sheet in CSS, we can make style sheets in Sass also. Okay, just understand in that way. Correct? So Sass also can be used for creating the style sheets, just like we create in CSS. But we are not going to discuss the Sass over here because this is beyond the scope of this training. If time permits, I'll definitely give you some idea about Sass at the end, but that is not our main objective of this training. Okay. So Bootstrap 3.3.7, this particular folder you will get once you unzip that file, and inside this folder you will get these all three folders over here. You can see CSS, fonts, JS. Okay, so these are all the folders you will get. If you go to CSS, you can see here there are a lot of CSS files are there. Okay, we will use this one only, bootstrap.min.css, and you can see here we also have JS folder in which we have bootstrap.js, bootstrap.min.js. Okay, so this file we will use the minification version. We are using the minification version because the file size will be less if you are using the minification version here, and you can see that we also have, you can see that we also have the fonts over here. Inside fonts, we have some fonts here which you can use for like making the icons on your web pages, that I'll show you. So these fonts folder also we require. So let me tell you what all files I'm including in my project which I created in Atom. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to make few folders inside my project folder here. So let me create one folder called CSS. One more folder I'm going to create as JS, and one more folder I'm going to create here as images. Okay, these are the folders which we require. So according to the type of files, we'll keep all these files over here. Okay. What is eot.svg and other files? I don't know like why you are asking this particular question, because it is not relevant to the concept which I am explaining to you right now. So please don't ask any unnecessary question which is not related to this particular training. Okay. So CSS, images and JS, these are all the folders we have. Now I'm going to include these files in my folder. So what I can do is I can go to D drive, Angular training, web app, and the CSS folder I have. In the CSS folder, I'm going to just copy this file and I'm keeping it here. Similarly, the JS file I'm going to copy and I'm going to keep it here, and fonts folder, the entire folder I'm just putting it over there. So let me show you the hierarchy. So these are all the files which I just copied, you can see. Okay. Bootstrap min.css I kept inside CSS folder. Bootstrap.min.js I kept inside the JS folder. Images folder is right now empty, there is nothing inside it. Maybe we will use it later, but right now I'm not keeping in anything inside this. Fonts folder, we have all these files. Okay, these are all the files we have. Correct? So the entire fonts folder I just copied and pasted. I'm not removing anything. So these are few things which we require here. Got it? Okay. One more thing I want to tell you, this bootstrap.min.js file has a dependency on Jquery, which means if you want to use this bootstrap.min.js file, you have to also use Jquery. Without Jquery file, this bootstrap.min.js will not work. Okay, so this means you also have to get the Jquery file. Jquery is also there in my system, which I downloaded it many times. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to Jquery and I'm just keeping it in my folder. Oops, it should be in JS. Okay, so that I'm keeping inside it. So you can see that Jquery also we got here. Now in Bootstrap, you can say we have two different type of components. One of the component means one category is those components which do not require any JavaScript. You can make it only by using this bootstrap.css file. But there are some other components also we have which are dynamic, which requires the Bootstrap JavaScript file. For example, if you want to create a carousel, the image gallery kind of thing, you require this file. If you want to create a modal, when you click it should display a modal box, it requires a Jquery and this Bootstrap.js file. So that's why there are many different components are there in Bootstrap which you can create on your pages for making it attractive, and there are some of the things which requires Bootstrap JavaScript file. There are some of the things which you can create without Bootstrap JavaScript file. Okay, so I suggest you to add all of them so that it should not create any confusion. And now the next thing is I'm going to add the reference over here. Okay, so I'm going to add the reference of all these files. So let me just add a reference, and I'm hiding my video for a moment here. Let me just show you like this. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm just going to write here link, and it is there inside CSS bootstrap.min.css. Okay, so this is the first file I just added, and then we also require here source.js, and we have bootstrap.min.js. And as I said that this file has a dependency on Jquery, so we also have to add a Jquery file before adding this bootstrap.min.js. So you should take care about the sequence. Okay, min.js. So these are the files which we require here. You can see 3 files I just added. One is bootstrap.min.css, which resides in the CSS folder. The other 2 files are Jquery and bootstrap.min.js file, which resides in the JS folder. Okay, So these are all files I just added. Now if you save and if you just go to your web page, you will see that it has actually changed the appearance of your web page a little bit. Earlier it was not showing the heading like this. Okay, it is not showing. It was not showing the heading like this over here. Okay. Okay, there is a participant who is asking how sequence is important to include JS files. Okay, let me just answer this particular question. There is one participant who is asking how sequence is important to include the JS file. Okay, let's not follow the sequence. What I'm doing is I'm just going to remove this jQuery and I'm putting it over here after adding this bootstrap. Okay, after adding this bootstrap, I'm adding this jQuery. Now I'm going to my browser and let's open the developer options. I hope you know how to open a developer options. If not, just press F12 or Ctrl+Shift+I. It will open the developer options in your browser. If you go to the developer options in the console, you can see it is showing Bootstrap JavaScript requires jQuery. Okay, I told you no that bootstrap.min.js file has a dependency on jQuery. So it is not able to find out the jQuery file. Why? Because you have referred the bootstrap file before referring a jQuery file. So when it is loading a page in your browser, it is loading this file first and then it is loading this file, and hence it is not able to identify or link this particular file. So that's why if you suppose at this particular link here, saving it, now if you go to your browser, you will see the error is gone. So that's why the sequence is important. I hope you have understood. Okay. Alright, so this is what we have to do, how we need to set up the bootstrap in our web pages, and the next thing which I am going to tell you is how you can make the layout. Okay, because making a layout of your web page is really very important, right? Bootstrap gives you a 12-column grid system. Okay, and once you understand this grid system, you are done with Bootstrap. Rest of the things you can do it very easily. The only thing here which you need to understand carefully is a grid system. Okay, so Bootstrap gives you a 12-column grid system that can be used for like making your web page responsive and adding your content and arranging it on your entire page. Okay, so that 12-column grid system, how we can add it in our web page, that I'm telling you now. So in your Bootstrap, there are some predefined files, predefined classes we have which I can use for making the 12-column grid. Okay, Emma is asking JS file for jQuery is not available for me, how to add? So that you have to download, no my dear. Okay, so you just go to your jquery.com. Okay, and from jquery.com you can download this particular file. You just go to download jQuery, and here you can see we have this download compressed version. The current version which is available is 3.2.1. however, I added 3.1.1. it really doesn't matter, so you can download this one also. Okay, so from here you can download and then you can add it in your project. Obviously you will not get it in your Bootstrap. Okay, because Bootstrap is a different library and jQuery is different, but Bootstrap JS file has a dependency on jQuery, that's why we need to add it. Got it? Okay, so from here you can download the jQuery from the official website of jQuery, that is jquery.com, and you can add it in your web page. Okay. Alright, so I was talking about the 12-column grid system. Let me just explain you one thing on my document camera first, and then I will show you one example. Okay, so what we are doing is, for example, this is my web page. Okay, this is my web page. On this web page, I said that we need to create a grid system. However, that particular grid will not be visible to you. Okay, it is not like it will create our rows and columns over here just like a table. Yes, it will create the column system over here, 12 column grid system we have. I'm not making all 12 obviously. Okay, just take the example. So it gives you 12 column grid system. So for in the entire page it creates 12 columns. Okay, whenever you use Bootstrap grid system, it gives you a fixed 12 column grid. Okay, now it depends on you that which content you want to display in how many columns. So suppose you want to display your content side by side. Okay, what you will do, let's say I am just taking these many columns and these many columns. Okay, here I am displaying some content and here I also am displaying some content. So side by side I want to display. So what I will do, I will use some of the classes here to occupy that many columns over here. So let's say I have 12 columns. I want to divide this particular page into equal proportion. So what I will do is, I will make it as 6 column, 6 column. So the total always should be 12. You can also do it like this. Suppose you are occupying this much first and the remaining part you are occupying this much of area. So might be you can say this is 4 and 8. Okay, this much of area I am just putting 4 columns and here I am putting 8 columns. Correct. So that way also you can do it. Okay, sorry, this much of area we have. This is 4 and maybe I can say this much is 8. Okay, so there are fixed 12 column grid system we have. Whenever you are making columns in a single row, the total should be 12. Okay, so let's understand this particular thing on in the examples. I'm going to create one simple example here. So there are few predefined classes we have that can be used for making the container and the row and the columns over here. Okay, these all things you can do it. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to make one container first. So you should use the div elements because you know it can be used for making the divisions. So div, and I'm going to use a class called container. Okay, container class I'm using. There are two classes we have for creating a container for that grid. One is container and the another one is container fluid. Okay, container and container fluid. Now what is the difference? The difference is if you use container, it will give you the margins at the left hand side and right hand side. It will give you some space. Sometimes you might have seen some website where it shows you some space at the right and left hand side. So if you want some space at both the sides, you can use container. And if you are using container fluid, okay, it will not give you any margins at both the sides. It will occupy the complete width of the page. Okay, for making a grid, it will use a complete width of the page. Okay, so for example, I'm just using container fluid here. So when I save, you can see automatically is adding the indentation. That is just because of that atom Beautify. And here I'm going to add a row class. So for making a row, we use row class. Okay, and then I'm just going to write div, and I'm going to use one call mg12. Now there are few classes we have in Bootstrap that can be used for making the columns. Okay, and these classes you can use depending upon the type of devices for which you are making the website. So what are the different classes we have? We have these classes with some prefixes where you can define the numbers. Let me show you. So for columns, okay, for columns we have call SXS prefix, we have call SM prefix, we also have call MD, we have call LG. Okay, so these are some of the prefixes we have. Right now I'm using this prefix call MD, which is actually a medium device. So call XS is extra small, call SM is small, call MD is medium, and call LG is for large devices. Okay, so this is what it means. Now it means that when suppose I'm opening this page in extra small devices, then how many columns it should occupy I can mention here. So right now if I'm writing call MD12, this means if I open this particular page in the medium size devices like laptop and desktop, it should occupy all 12 columns. Okay, the first column should occupy all 12 columns. Correct? Maybe you can do it like this also, 6, and then one more you can write call MD6. So you can see in one row I created 2 columns. This is first column and this is the second column. Okay, this is the first column and this is second column. Now what does this mean? This means that I would like to create one page which when I open in my medium sized devices, it should occupy the 50% of area of the page for the first column and the 50% area for the second column. So I told you that the total should be 12. In every row, how many columns you are making, the total should be 12. So 6 plus 6, 12. You can also make it like this, 4, 8. So it is 12 again. Okay, maybe you can do it like this, 2, and then you can say 10. So again it is 12. Okay, let me show you what it will do it. So I'm just going to add the heading here. Let's say welcome guest, and here also I'm just going to add this is my website, saving it, going to the web page, and you can see how it is showing there. Okay, just look at this. I'm just hiding my video now. So just look at this, how it is showing. Since I mentioned the first column width as 2, so it means in the entire column, the first column is occupying the 2 columns. Okay, it is occupying 2 columns over here, and this is occupying the rest of the 10 columns. So that's why the width is very large. Okay. Similarly, if suppose I write here 6 and here also I write here 6, if I save this, you can see how it is showing now. Okay, so this also is occupying the 6 columns and this also is occupying the 6 columns. So we are just assuming that on this page we have 12 columns. When you create a div container, we are assuming that it is giving you a 12 column. Now how many columns you want to occupy for a particular content, that we are defining here. So I want that this heading should occupy the first 6 columns, and the remaining 6 columns I am giving to this particular heading. Getting my point? This is what we are doing. So remember that when you are creating a Bootstrap container, it gives you a 12 column. How many columns you want to occupy for a particular content, that you can define here. So maybe you can create 4 columns, 5 columns of different size. That depends on the requirement. how you would like to do that. Okay, and the best thing is, like, when you resize this, no, it will automatically adjust the content accordingly. You can see when I am resizing this particular page, automatically it is shifting this to the next line. Okay, and when I increase the size over here, you can see again it is adjusting it over here, because it is now created in grid. Okay, so that is really very important to understand in the Bootstrap concept. Okay, so this thing is really very important to understand the grid system, right? How to know which particular Bootstrap class to use. Obviously that too you have to learn, no? This is what you have to learn. For example, you are learning Java language. How do you know that which particular method you have to use at which place? Can you tell me just a thing, Pranav? Suppose you are learning HTML. How do you know which tag we have to use at which place? If you are learning C, which keyword you have to use which place? How do you know that? Okay, so obviously you have to learn these things, right? There are so many classes are there which we have, and we need to use different classes for different things. Okay, yes, correct, Uday. Uday Kiran, based on the requirement we have to use the different classes, but obviously we should know that which all classes are there in Bootstrap. Some of the common classes so you can remember, no? Just like for creating grid, these many classes we have, so that I can remember. Okay, obviously if you are learning Java language, you don't know all the classes which are available in Java, but those classes which we usually use in our Java programming language on a regular basis, that we all know, we remember those classes because we usually use those classes on a regular basis. Similarly, once you do try to do these type of things by yourself, you can become used to, okay, of using all these things. Okay, so I hope that this grid system is clear to everybody how to use that. Is that clear to all of you? Click on the plus sign please if yes. Okay, fine. So if this is clear, then one more thing I want to tell you here is, like, it might be possible that you are writing like this. For example, I'm saying call SM4, and here I'm writing call SM8. Now what is the meaning of this particular statement, and how we are adding two classes over here? We can add as many classes as we want in a particular element. So here I'm using two classes actually. This is one class and this is another class. Now the benefit of writing these things are, like, if suppose I open this particular page in a medium sized device, it will divide my page into six columns. Okay, and just a minute, guys. Start from slide 2 of SQL. PPT 2. Second PPT, whatever it is showing in sequence. I think it is session 3. Oh, sorry for the disturbance. Okay, there is a question I'm getting for smartphones. We can go for SM4 whereas in tablets we can go for SM8. Okay. Right now that is not possible. No, they have the PPTs, no? You just tell them. See, it depends on the different size actually, okay? Every attribute, every prefix has a different size over there, okay? If you want to see, I can just show you, just give me a minute. I think I have this particular information in one of my slides, which I usually use in the responsive web designing. Let me just check. If I have, I'll show you. Not this one. Yeah, this particular chart you can see and you can understand it easily. Okay, so if suppose you are using call access, this is for those type of devices where the screen size, the screen width is less than 768 pixels. So here the size is mentioned actually. So call access is for less than 768 pixels width device. Small device means call SM is for greater than equal to 768 pixels. Okay, but less than 991, less than equal to 991. Medium devices greater than equals to 992 but less than 1200. Okay, less than 1199, I can say, less than equal to 1199, and large devices greater than equals to 1200 pixels. So these are the sizes we have. You can get the reference of these sizes on various websites also. We have a very good reference on WE schools as well, from where you can see. So these are the things we have actually. Okay. So call access, call SM, call MD, call LG. These are the prefixes we have, which I can use with column name, okay, or column classes. So actually what will happen if I use this call MD6 and call SM4 both? If I open this page in a medium sized device, it will divide my page into 50-50 ratio, 6:6, okay? And if I open this in a small size device, then it will arrange this particular content in 4 and 8 columns, okay? So maybe I can say like 70-30% or 60-40%, like that. Okay, so that way it will divide this. And same way you can also write call LG. So if you open this in a large device, then how it should arrange this particular content, that also you can write it there. So this means depending upon the requirement, what we can do is we can add the classes over here. Okay, all right. Anu. Okay. So I hope that this is clear to everybody, that how you can use these columns and all. Guys, just give me a minute, huh? Okay, there is one participant was asking how these classes added according to device. So that you don't have to do anything with that, my dears. Okay, what code they are using, what like strategy they are using, how they are changing it to according to a device, that you don't have to do anything with that. Okay, this is what the advantage of using Bootstrap. If you have to write your all code by yourself, then there is no use of using this Bootstrap. No. Okay. Okay. So this is how you can create the columns and everything. Now one more thing I want to tell you. For example, I'm just using this SM only. Okay, so you can see we are using this container fluid, and since I'm using container fluid, it is not giving any margins over here. Okay, let me show you. You can see we are not getting any margins, enough margins we are not getting over here. And let me just align this particular heading to the right hand side so that you can see the right hand side area also. So you can see on the right hand side as well, we are not getting enough margin. So that is just because of this container fluid. If suppose I use here container only, okay, I just remove the container fluid. If I'm using container only, then you will see that we got some margins. Okay, I got some margins. Actually, it will give you the margins like this. I'm showing you this particular the screen in a projection mode. That's why I usually change the resolution, and that's why it is not showing you correctly. But when you open it in your systems, no, it will give you this much of space if you are using container. Okay, so you can see that much of space we are getting on both the sides if you are using container, and if I use container fluid, then it is not giving you any spaces. Just look at here. So depending upon your requirement, you can add it. Okay. Okay, so I use container. So if I use container, it has also added the gaps. So Hema, you are asking, I have added some things, but still I am getting both contents in different rows, but not in columns. Make sure that your browser you are opening in a full screen mode. Might be you are adjusting your browser over there along with your Atom. That's why it is considering the size of this particular browser to be very small, and that's why it is showing in two different rows. Okay, so open it in a full screen and check. I'm sure that it will show you the correct output. Okay, so that is what I'm also doing here, because if I resize this particular browser window, then it will consider the size of the browser accordingly. No, let's say I'm resizing it. Okay, so accordingly it will consider the size. Okay, so that is how you can do it here. So this is one thing, like how you can create the columns and all. Okay, if the browser is full screen, then might be there is some problem in the code, or maybe you please check whether your files are correctly mapped, okay, correctly linked in your browser. You can go to F12 and you can check here. In case if it is showing any error over there, just fix that error. Okay, so it can happen if your files are not linked properly. If it is not able to find out the files, then your Bootstrap will not work. So make sure that you are able to link the files. Okay. Okay, so this is one thing. Now let's talk about few more things that we have in Bootstrap. For this, I'm just going to the official website of Bootstrap again. And I can go to components here. You can see we have these components. When we go to the components, it will open up this page, and on this page you can see we have a lot of components over here. On the right hand side you can see there are a lot of components are there. We have drop downs, buttons, and nav bars, and breadcrumbs, and pagination. There are a lot of components we can add, and it is by default there in Bootstrap, which you can use. It is ready to use actually. So let me show you a few things. I would like to add a navigation bar from here. So what I can do, I can go to the nav bar. Okay, I just clicked on this nav bar, and I'm scrolling a page little bit. You can see this is my nav bar code. You will get it over here. So this type of a navigation bar I want on my page, which you can see here. Correct? If I want this type of a navigation bar, what I can do is I can simply copy this particular code, okay, for this nav bar. Okay, I'm copying this particular code of the nav bar and I'm pasting it in my here I'm just pasting it over there. So what I can do is I can just remove this and I can make one single column only, column G12, and here only I'm just going to add this code. So you just look at here, all that particular code is now added in my column. So I just pasted the code inside this div where I have this column, and I specified the column width as 12. So if I save this and if I go to my web page, you'll see that we got the navigation bar. Okay, very simple and elegant navigation bar we got over here. It is totally customizable. If you want to customize it, you can do it according to your requirement. So for example, you want to change the brand name, you can change it from here. So let's say I'm just writing like this, NIIT. I can save this. So you can see it is changed now. It is showing here NIIT. Okay. And also I can just make some changes in the rest of the things. So for example, these are the links we have. If you want to make some changes in the links, you can change over here. So here we have a link. Let's say we have home. Okay, home link is there, and here I'm saying about. So about link is there. So these are the changes which I want to make. And now if I go to my web page, you can see we got this home and about. Okay, home and about, we got it here. We have this drop down and you can see all these options we are getting here. If you want to keep it, that is fine, but if you want to remove it, you can remove it from here. So this li class drop down where it is using, this class only it is giving you a drop down list. And we also have a form which you can see, the search box it is showing and submit button it is showing. Let's say I don't want this. So what I can do is I can remove this form from here. Okay, I can just remove this particular form from here and I can save this, and if I go to my web page, you can see it is not showing that form now. Okay, so this means that it is totally customizable according to your requirement. You can customize this nav bar and you can show this in your web page. Got it? After that, let's say I'm also going to write here sign in, and here I want to display something else. Maybe I want to display register. So if I say register, you can see we got this sign in and register. Okay, just look at this, sign in and register we got. And here we still have a drop down. If we want to keep this, I can keep this here, otherwise I can remove. I can also change the text by just going to my code. Okay, so it is really very simple, and you don't need to do anything with the CSS code. You just need to make some changes in the HTML code which we have just copied and pasted here, and I can make this navigation bar according to my requirement. Okay, so similarly there are a lot of components are available on the Bootstrap website which you can take it and you can keep it there. Okay, now you can see that it is giving you a margin also at the left hand side and at the right hand side. If you want, you can use the container fluid. so that it should give you the full screen container. Okay, so now if I refresh this, you can see we are getting this container here. Okay, so in container also actually it gives you a very small margin, but that depends on the browser screen. Right now my resolution is different, that's why according to the resolution it is showing over there. Okay, so this is how you can make a navigation bar. Okay, so very nice and professional navigation bar we got, and that is very simple and easy to use. Similarly, there are a lot of other components also we have which can be added. So let's say we also have here some of the buttons I can add the panels over here. Okay, so we also have here the wells I can add, Jumbotron is there. Okay, Jumbotron is just like we have this kind of a thing if you want to create. Okay, then you can make it. So this is a Jumbotron. Okay, that is a flexible content that can optionally extend the entire viewport. So this is the Jumbotron. Okay, if you want to use that, you can copy the code from here and you can add it. So let me just copy this. I'm going to my atom. Let me create one more row here. This is column actually. This is div row div call mg12, and here only I'm just going to add this Jumbotron. Now if I go to my web page, you can see we got this Jumbotron over here. So this kind of a thing you might have seen sometimes in your web pages. Okay, so now you can just go to here. For example, I would like to write something in my paragraph. Some text is there, so you can see we got some text over there. Okay, so this is called as Jumbotron, where it gives you a like gray background and some content you can add inside it, and a nice rounded corners it gives you over here. So that is a Jumbotron we have, and it is totally responsive. The good thing is that this page is totally responsive. If I suppose resize this particular page, you will observe something. You can see I just resize this, and you can see automatically it is adjusting the content. Okay, it is showing the content over here, and you can see all the links are gone from the top. Only it is showing a brand name. So where these all links are gone, it is now added in this drop down. So if I click here, you can see it is showing all those links. So this means we are doing the same thing which I have just shown you on the W3 Schools website. Okay, there also it was doing the same thing. So when I click here, you can see we are getting all these things: home, about, sign in, register. So that kind of a toggle menu we got here. Okay, and if I resize it again in the full screen, you can see again it is showing all the options normally. So this page is completely responsive, and how we have created without even writing a single CSS code. We are not writing any CSS code on our web page, and we are getting a responsive website. Okay, so what else you want? So that's why I told you that most of the developers use this Bootstrap for making their website responsive. Okay. So guys, there are a lot of other things to do on this Bootstrap. Actually, what you can do is you can use some other components also that you have. Just like I use the navbar, I use the Jumbotron, the same way you can also use the rest of the components over here. Okay. Let me show you one more thing. Just like this is the button I have here. Okay. So this is the button I have, and for making a button you can see that we are using this particular class. Okay, how do you make buttons in Bootstrap? It's very simple. Let me show you here. Okay, I can just add here actually, div row, div call mg12, and here only I'm just going to add a button. So let's say I'm just going to add a button and I can say home. So if I just save this, you can see that we are getting a very normal kind of a button. I'm just hiding my video over here. Okay, so you can see that we got this particular button here. Okay, just a minute. I'm getting one question over here from one participant. Any disadvantages of Bootstrap over CSS? My dear, your question itself is wrong. Okay, let me tell you why your question is wrong. You are asking any disadvantages of Bootstrap over CSS. This means you are assuming that Bootstrap is the alternative of CSS, which is not. Okay, let me just clear this thing first of all. Bootstrap is not the alternative of CSS. Bootstrap is a CSS front-end framework. This means Bootstrap using CSS for creating all these classes. See, you can understand it very easily. If suppose I'm saying you have to create all these things by yourself, what you will do? You will create all your classes by yourself. You will write all your CSS code yourself. But what we are doing here, these all classes are already there in Bootstrap, which I'm just using it. Okay? So it is not like the Bootstrap is a totally different technology for creating a style sheets. You can still use the CSS. Obviously, suppose I want to make some changes. I want to customize these all things like navigation bar. I want to customize according to my requirement. I can write the CSS code. Okay, there's no problem. I can customize it according to my preference. Okay, so Bootstrap is not the alternative of CSS. Bootstrap itself is using CSS here. Okay, if you see this particular file, no, let me just show you this bootstrap min.css. Just look at here. This code which you can see here it's a CSS code only. Okay, in this bootstrap.min.css file we have a CSS code only. So all these classes, container, row, call MD, and whatever classes I am using, these all classes are already there in the Bootstrap. So the advantage which I am getting here is I don't have to create these classes by myself. I don't have to write all my CSS code from scratch. I can simply call those classes and I can use it. Just like in your Java, you have packages. In your packages, you have some predefined classes, and inside classes, you have some predefined methods. Why we are using that? Why we are not writing everything by ourselves? Because it saves our time. Why we should spend time on writing everything from scratch? If suppose I am asking you to print something in Java program, what you use? Println statement? Why you are using println? Why you are not writing your own code? Because why should I do that? Because I am already getting this method in Java which I can use for printing something on the console. Okay, similarly, Bootstrap is a library inside which you have lot of CSS classes which I can call and I can use them on my web page. Okay, so don't just create this confusion in your mind that it is alternative of CSS or something like that. So that's why I told you that this question is wrong. So button I just created over here, and as you can see we got this button here. Okay, now let me just make it let's say I want to change the look and feel of this button actually. So what I can do is I can simply say class equals to btn success. Okay, there are some classes we have for the button. Now if I save this, you'll see that here it has created the button like this. Just look at here. excuse me. So we have BTN and we also have BTN success. Both the classes I just used, and you can see we got this button here, right? Similarly, you can create a lot of other buttons also. Let's say I'm just creating some buttons. Okay, so here I'm suppose using this about. Here I'm using contact. I'm using FAQ. I'm using help. And here I can say, what I can say, products, anything I can add it. So we got these all buttons over here. Just look at this. Okay, this way you can see. So we got these all buttons over here like this. Now you can give a different style to every button. So here suppose I'm using success. Maybe I can use here as primary. There are different classes we have: primary, success, warning. We also have info. We have default. We also have danger. Okay, these are the classes we have. Now if I save this, you'll observe that it has changed the look and feel of for all the buttons here. So we got some colorful buttons. So primary, if I'm using, it gives you this nice blue color. This is success, green. This is the warning. This is info. This is default, and this is danger, the red color if you want. Okay, so that's how you can add these buttons actually, and very easily you can use these classes. So this BTN, BTN primary, BTN success, these all classes already I have in this file, bootstrap.min.css. Already these all classes are created in this file. What I'm doing is to just using it on my page. Okay. Yes, correct. The color changes based on the button classes. Okay. Different classes are there for changing different colors. That is what I'm telling you. Okay. So that's how you can create the button. Now let me tell you one more thing. Suppose you would like to add some icons on these buttons. So Bootstrap provides you some glyph icons that you can use in the buttons actually. So how do you use that? You can just write it like this. Instead of writing this particular text, normally you should write it in the span along with the span tag. Okay, so here I can say span, and in the span tag I can say class equals to, we have a class called glyph icon, and then we can say glyph icon home. Okay, this is the class I have. Now if I say I'm just going to save this actually. Okay, so if I save this, you can see we got a nice home icon over here. Let me just give the space also. So you can see a nice home icon, I got it over here. Alright, so how we are getting it? We are just getting it with the help of this glyph icon. Okay, so glyph icon home, these are the classes we have for adding the glyph icons there. So there are a lot of glyph icons we have in Bootstrap. If you want to see what all glyph icons we have, you can again go to the Bootstrap official website, and you can see in the components itself, components page, it is showing you a lot of glyph icons over here. So these are the available glyph icons. The names are mentioned over here. For example, you want to add this glyph icon, trash. So you can use glyph icon trash class. Similarly, if you want to use this glyph icon user, okay, so you can use this glyph icon user here. Let me show you. Suppose I'm just writing here in about this glyph icon I want to add, and this time I'm going to use a class called glyph icon user. So now if I go to my web page, you'll see here we got this nice user icon. Okay, so these all are glyph icons actually. Okay, Okay, so we have this particular home, and we also have this about, and similarly you can add it in the rest of the buttons also, whatever icons you want to display. Okay, so maybe I can just add here. So in the contact, maybe I can say, I can say phone. Yeah, you can see we got this phone icon over here. Okay, and here I can say question. Do we have that? I think it is not there, that's why it is not showing. So remember that it is not like you can write it anything. Oh, we have question sign actually. Okay, that's why it is not showing there. So we have the name of the glyph icon as question sign. So now we got it here. You can see we got the FAQ. Okay, similarly for help and products also we can add some icons. So that's how you can do it. Okay, so these are the glyph icons we have which you can add on your web page. Alright, so I hope that this is clear to everybody that how I used all these classes for buttons and glyph icons and everything. Is that clear to all of you? Click on the plus sign please if yes. I do all those tasks what you do it, but in my browser output is not automatically changed. What can I do? So my dear, I think you joined the session late. That's why you don't know that what you are supposed to do for automatically refreshing your content. Okay, so in my system, in my Atom text editor, actually I'm using Atom Live Server, which is the another package I'm using. So in the beginning, when I started this session, I explained that what all packages I'm using in my Atom. So Atom Live Server is the another package which I'm using, and I already started this particular Atom Live Server. You can see it is running over here. Okay, and that's why you can see in my browser it's showing the localhost IP address. Okay, localhost IP address it is showing over here, and also it is showing a port number. Okay, so the benefit of using this Atom Live Server is whenever you make any changes in your code, it will automatically reflect the changes over here. Okay, so that's what you can do it. So this package you need to install if you want to the updated content over there. How it configures? You can go to the settings and search for the plugin, the package called Atom Live Server, install it, and this is the only thing you have to do. Once it is get installed, go to the packages, start server, and you can start. It will automatically open the browser where you can browse your website, and then whenever you make any changes, it will reflect the changes there. So you need to install this package from the settings, just like I explained the rest of the things. You need to install that Emmet package also if you want the shortcuts for HTML. Okay. Alright, so these are some of the things I just explained, and let's go to the other things. Okay, few more things I want to tell you here is, just like I added the components for the CSS, okay, some CSS components I just added over here. The same way we also have some JavaScript components here. Okay, if you go to this JavaScript, you'll see that here we have some JavaScript components there. Okay. So these are some of the JavaScript components are there. You can see we have transitions, modal, we also have drop down, we have popover, we have alert, we have carousel. Okay, a lot of different JavaScript components are there. Actually, these components are dynamic components. So let me show you. For example, if I talk about this carousel, okay, this is the carousel actually. This kind of a thing you might have seen in many websites, okay, where it shows a slideshow and it gives you that previous and next button. If you want to create this type of a slide show, you can use this carousel. Okay, so here we have a next button. If I click on this next, you can see it is going to a second slide. Again, if I go to click on this next, you can see it is going to a third slide. And if I click on previous, it is going to a previous slide. Okay, so it is giving a slide effect also. So right now there are no such images are added here. However, we can add the images also. Whatever images we would like to add, we can add it, and then we can slide those images here and there. So this type of carousel also we can create in our web page if we want. Then same way we also have modal here. So if suppose you want to show the modal, this type of a modal you might have seen in some website. When you click on some link, it displays this type of a modal box. So just like this, I'm just clicking on this particular launch or demo modal and it will show you this type of a modal here. So you can see, I just click over here and it will make the page in a like gray effect it will apply on the page and it will show the modal over here. We also have a close button which I can use to close this. Okay, so this type of a modal if you want to use, so small modal also I have, you can see, and we also have a large modal. Okay, so different sizes are also available, correct? So this type of a modal if you want, you can use this. Inside a modal itself you can use the bootstrap and you can use the columns and rows just like we created in our page, right? So these type of modals and all these components we can actually add it over here, and these all components are known as JavaScript components actually. Okay, so these components I'll show you, okay, how you can add these all components in your web page. It requires jQuery also, but that we have already added. So I'll show you few components like modal I'll show you, and also I'll show you the carousel. But before going to that part, I'm just going to take a short break over here, and after a break I will continue and I will tell you like how you can add this modal and how you can add this carousel on your web page and how you can use these JavaScript components. Okay, so let's take a 10 minutes break here, and right now it is 12. We will connect at 12:10 and we will continue the session. Okay, so let's take a 10 minutes break. Alright, so welcome back all of you, and now let's move on to the next thing. And I told you that I will explain you how you can add this carousel and model on your web page. So let me just show you a very quick demonstration here. And so I'm just sharing my screen with all of you. And here what I can do is I can first of all take this carousel. Okay, so this carousel code I'm just taking from here. This is the code for the carousel. Okay. After taking it, I'm just going to keep it in my web page, and where I would like to make this, right after the navigation bar, I want to add this. So let's say I'm going to add a row, and I can say div col md12, and here only I can add this carousel. So let me go to the web page now. So here you can see that we got this particular carousel on our web page. Okay, we got the carousel, but actually we are not getting any images because we have not yet mentioned any images there. The only thing which we are getting right now is we are getting the previous button, and we are also getting the next button here. So how do you add images? I just copied and pasted the code of this carousel from my Bootstrap website, and here only you have a space to add the images. If you look at the code of this carousel, you can see that we have this image src, where it is showing these three dots. So this means there is no such images there right now. So I can just add the images over here. But right now I don't have images in my website, so what I can do is I can just keep some images from my folder. Okay, so maybe I can go to C drive, Windows, Web, Screen. Yeah, these are some of the images I have. So let me just take these three images. Okay, these are the three images I'm just taking. Might be I can take this one. So these are the three images I'm just taking here. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so let me just copy this in my website images folder. I'm keeping it there, these three images. And now you can see that we got it here also. So let me hide my video. We got this in our images folder, you can see. And now I'm going to add these images here. So I can just write it like this. I can say images / img103.jpg, and similarly here also I can say img104.jpg, and if I want one more, I can just add this item again. Okay, and then here I can say img, it should be images / img, and here also it should be images / img105. Okay. So alternate text you can define whatever you want. Right now we are not going to mention anything. So these are the images I just added. Now I can go to my web page, and if you see here, we got this nice carousel. Okay. You can see we got this nice carousel over here, and by default it will automatically change the images whenever it will load the page. However, you have this previous and next button which you can use for moving on to the next image and the previous image. So if I click on this next, it is going to the next image, and if I'm clicking on this previous, it is going to the previous image. Okay. Actually, I'm showing you this in the projection mode now, and whenever I show any high resolution images, it actually takes time to reflect. So that's why when I'm clicking on the next button and the previous button, no, it is taking a lot of time. But you can do it in your system. Okay, when you do it in your system, no, it will give you a very smooth effect. So that is not a problem. Okay. So this is how you can create this carousel. Sometimes you might have noticed the text over here. Okay, it shows some text also. So that text you can add it here in the carousel caption. So for example, I'm just going to write here H2, and maybe I can say Google, and here I can say H2, and I can say Facebook. Okay, and here also I can write H2, and this time I can say Twitter. So let me save this. I can go to my web page, and you can see that we got this Google here. Okay. So again, it is taking some time to reflect. Okay, yeah. So this is Google here, and if I click on this next image, it is sliding to the left hand side, showing the another image, and showing the Facebook text. So this means that you can also add the captions on your carousel. Whatever text you want to add, you can add it there. Okay. So it's a very nice and smooth transitions we have between the images. If you want to create these type of things, you can do it like this. Okay. Okay, so that is what we have. Now the next thing which I'm going to tell you is the modal. Okay, how you can add a modal in your web page. And I want to make a default modal actually. Means the dynamic modal, sorry. I want to create a dynamic modal. What I want is, I have the sign in and register options on the top, okay, in the web page. So I want that whenever I click on sign in, it should display the modal here, where it should display the login username and password box. So I want to create a login page, but that should be a dynamic modal. Whenever I click on the sign in, then only it should display that. Okay. So for doing this, I can just go to the website first, and there I can go for a modal. Okay, so modal, this is the modal actually, and this particular thing I can copy. Okay, so this is the modal. So remember that everything, whatever I'm taking from here, this I'm taking from the official website of Bootstrap. Okay, I'm not going to any other websites. All the matter is available on the official website itself. So that I'm taking and I'm just keeping it on my page. Remember that I'm just keeping it outside everything, outside my container and everything. I'm just keeping it there because it will not be visible directly. Okay, whenever I click on a button, then only it should be visible. That is what I want. So you can see that here we have this modal, okay, and one more thing, I think we have to mention the modal name also. I think I should take this one, not that one. So modal ID also I have to mention actually. Okay. So this is the ID of the modal, you can see, my modal. We need this ID for showing this modal dynamically. Okay, so this is the ID of the modal, and I want to show this whenever I click on the sign in option. Okay, so where is that sign in? Sign in, yeah, here it is, sign in. Okay, so on this sign in, whenever I click on this sign in, it should display that modal. So what should I do here is, it is also giving you one code for toggling the modal. Okay, you can see we have this button. You can also add it on the hyperlink, there is no problem, only these things you require. So I'm just adding it over there. So you can see data toggle equals to modal, data target equals to hash my modal. This is the ID of my modal actually. So I'm just going to save this. Let's go back to the page and let's try whether it is showing it or not. So when I click on this sign in, so yes, it is showing a modal here. Okay, let me show you once again. Actually again there is a problem with this particular resolution of images. Since the images which I am using on my web page is a high resolution images, that's why it takes time to reflect on your screen. So when I click on this sign in, it will show you that particular modal. So you can design this particular modal according to your requirement. Just like I told you that I want to add some of the text boxes. I want to create the sign in page, so I can add all these things there. Correct? So according to your requirement, you can just modify this and you can create this sign in page. Okay, so this is a modal body. Okay, and this is the title which you want to display. So maybe I can say sign in, and here I can say like this. Okay, so I'm actually adding a text box. All right, and I'm going to use the placeholder username, and I'm also going to add the password field. So I'm actually creating a simple simple login page I'm creating. And this is the close button actually, so let it be default, and this is sign in. Okay, I want to be a primary, so that's what we are doing here. Now I can go back to my page once again. So when I go back to my page, and if I click on this particular sign in, you can see that nice modal we are getting over here with two text boxes in which we have a placeholder also, and we have this sign in and close buttons. Okay, so this is a modal we have created. So whenever we click on this sign in, this particular modal will appear. You can close it. Maybe you have a sign in button. When you click on sign in, you can do something. For this, you can write some code. Okay, so all these things you can do it over there. Okay, so that's how you can use this Bootstrap in your web pages, and I hope whatever things I just explained you, it is clear to everybody. In case if you have any questions, any doubts related to any concept of this Bootstrap, you can ask your queries. So that all these things where I just in our web pages will create with AngularJS. So as I told you that after this training, I will give you to create whatever I just explained. Okay, we will use the modal also. We will use some other dynamic content as well. Okay. Okay. There is one participant is asking, there is any possible way to change the size of modal? Yes, we have our classes over here, no? So for changing the size, we have few classes actually. So large modal and small modal. So these classes we can use, and we have used it there. Modal dialog where I'm using. So here only I can use that particular class. Where I'm writing this div class modal dialog. Here only I can add one more class over here like this. Name of the class, the name of the class is modal LG. Okay. G I can write, and I can increase the size. LG, modal, SM, all classes are there. So SM is for small, LG means large, MD is for medium. So this particular class you can use it actually for changing the size of your modal here. Okay. All topics are clear, but please brief me package name that I need to install. Package name for which thing you are talking about? There are three packages actually I explained in the beginning which you can install. One is your Atom Live server. Second one is Emmet. Okay, these two packages are there which you need to install. However, you can also install the Atom Beautify, which beautifies your code and adds the necessary indentions in your code automatically. So whenever you hit Ctrl S, automatically it will format your code and it beautify your code actually, so you can understand easily understand your code there. Okay, so these three packages actually I installed in my Atom. Voice is breaking. Is there any problem in the audio, all of you? Sandhya is saying voice is breaking. Is there any problem in the audio? I'm getting a mixed response actually. Some of you are saying yes, some of you are saying no. Audio is freezing. So right now also it is freezing, or it is fine now? It was, now it's okay. Okay, fine. So I think there was some problem in between, but now it is fine. Okay. Is the button tag equivalent to input type equals to submit? Yes, you can use the button tag. Maybe you can use the input type equals to submit. Not submit actually. Here we need to mention the types. As you can see, button type equals to button. So you can create the button by using a button tag or by using the input element also. There is no problem. So any of the element you can use for creating this buttons actually. Okay. So these are the things which I used, and this is the page which I created. So whatever things I have done here, this page which I have created here, I'll do one thing. I'll just upload this particular page on Google Drive, and I will share the link with all of you. Okay, so that you can refer it, and you can try to create the similar type of components by yourself in your system. Okay, so remember that we just need to download these libraries from the internet, and we need to add it in our website, and then you can use it just like I'm using in my website. Okay, all right. So guys, that's the only thing we have in the Bootstrap. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you anything else. However, there are many other things to learn in Bootstrap which you can refer. You can see, I can just tell you here. Okay, you can see that there are different categories we have. We have simple CSS components. We also have JavaScript components. So if you're going to components, then it does not require any JavaScript library. Just like I added bootstrap.min.js. It requires only a CSS file. But if you want to add some JavaScript components, then we require that bootstrap.in.js file as well. And since we are adding a Bootstrap.js, we also require a Jquery. Okay, because there is a dependency. So the rest of the things you can try the same way, just like I added these things, modal and carousel. The same way you can add the rest of the things also. So for everything the code is available. Okay, you can simply just copy the code from here and you can paste it in your website, and you can make your web pages easily. Okay, so that's one thing. And the next thing which I'm just going to tell you is, I'm just going to give you a small introduction about AngularJS, and we will make the pages with AngularJS in the next session. Okay, so today I will just explain you what is AngularJS, how we use AngularJS in our website, and what are the advantages. Fine. Okay, so I'm just going to close this Get Bootstrap website. Okay. All right. So we have seen that we used Bootstrap for making our web pages, and we use a lot of different components. Now, how we use AngularJS and how it is different from the rest of the JavaScript libraries. So AngularJS is also a JavaScript library which you can use for making your pages dynamic, and mainly you can use Angular JS for creating a single page application. Okay, so you need to understand the single page app concept actually. What do you mean by single page app? The very good example of single page application is Gmail. Okay, your Gmail, you can consider it as a single page application. When you open your Gmail, it gives you some hyperlinks at the left hand side like inbox, compose. It also gives you like that drafts and sent items and lot of other things. Whenever you click on a particular link, it does not redirect the user on a different page. It just changes the content of the same page. Okay, it does not redirect the user to the other page. It is not like when you are clicking on inbox, it is redirecting you to a different page. When you are clicking on your sent items or any other folder, it is redirecting you a different page. No, everything it is showing on one single page. So what is the single page app actually? Let me just explain you on my document camera. Single page app means, let's say I'm creating this particular page here, okay, and on the top of the page I have a header, at the left hand side of the page I have some links over here, and on the bottom I have a footer, correct? So whenever I click on this particular link, I want that it should automatically change the content over here, whatever content it is showing here. This header, footer, links, or might be I'm showing something at the right hand side, this or these all things should remain fixed. It should not change anything over here. I just wanted to change this content. Okay, whatever it is showing there, I want to change this. So I want that whenever I'm clicking on any link, it should not redirect the user to the other page. Instead of that, it should change this content only. So what is the advantage? The advantage is it reduces the network traffic, because everything it will do it asynchronously, and whenever you click on a particular link, instead of loading the entire page again, it only loads that particular content which is required to update. So this header is same, links are same, footer is same, this bar is also same. It will not load these things. It will only load this area. So obviously, if it is loading a particular area of the page, not the entire page, then your website performance will definitely improve. Okay, so the same kind of a thing you might have observed on your Gmail, that whenever you click on inbox or sent items, drafts or anything, it just changes this particular area. Okay, and the rest of the thing remains the same. So this is the meaning of single page application. Okay. However, we will create multiple HTML files. It is not like we are not going to create multiple HTML files and we are going to create only one single HTML page. We will create multiple HTML files, but based upon a requirement, in a master page, we will inject that particular page over here. So this we will consider as a master page. Okay. And whatever content I want to display here, this I will take it from different HTML files and we will inject that HTML files here. Okay, so let's say I have a home page. Okay, I also have one page, let's say about. Let's say I have one more page called contact. So let's say different pages are there. So whenever I click on this hyperlink, it should take this page and should display inside this area. Whenever I click on this hyperlink, it should take this about page and it should display this in this area. Whenever I click on this link, it should take this contact and should display in this area. Okay, so actually we are injecting all those views. Okay, all those views we are injecting inside the master HTML page. This is what a single page app means. That instead of loading the entire page, it loads only that content which is changed or which is required to be changed. Fine. So that is what we will discuss in AngularJS. Now the second thing is, in AngularJS actually we also have a concept of data binding. Okay. Data binding is one of the critical things. Usually we use JavaScript for changing the content of the page dynamically, but if you are using JavaScript, then you must have a very good knowledge of DOM. DOM in the sense document object model. Okay, document object model is the concept which we usually use for changing or manipulating the content of our HTML pages or HTML elements, I can say. So you must be very good in DOM, and then only you can change the content of the HTML elements. So this means sometimes we need to write a very complex code. So to avoid all these things, we use AngularJS. In AngularJS, it gives you some predefined directives and expressions that can be used for doing a data binding very easily. So let's say there is some data is coming from some data source, okay, and that data you want to present on your web page in a very meaningful format and attractive format. You can use AngularJS. Okay, so the main advantage is AngularJS can be used for creating a single page application, and also it can be used for data binding. Alright, in our AngularJS we will create one sample application. However, I'll show you multiple examples, but all of you have to create one sample application in which we will do some kind of cut operation, but obviously that will not be in a database because we don't have any concept of database over here. We are just learning the client side framework. So AngularJS is a JavaScript front-end framework. Just like in Bootstrap I told you, Bootstrap is a CSS front-end framework. Similarly, AngularJS is a JavaScript front-end framework. Okay, with the help of that JavaScript, you can make your user interface. Okay, and lot of things you can do actually. AngularJS is really very interesting, and lot of things you can do. You can display your data in an attractive format. You can call your external APIs from another websites. That also we will discuss. And single page application, how we will create, that also we will discuss. Okay, so these all things we will discuss in our next session actually. Okay, today what you have to do, you have to spend some time on this Bootstrap, and you have to try creating the similar type of page which I just created during a session. Okay, obviously not the same thing. You can try the other options, okay, which I told you that you can check it out and you can try to add these components on your web pages. So try to make an attractive web page. Okay, just take some reference on some different websites and try to create a similar type of web page there. Add navigation bar, add carousel, add Jumbotron, lot of things you can add it over there. Okay, so today you need to spend time on Bootstrap. As I told you that I will be available between 1:30 to 3:30 for your MR support. In case if you need any help, you can ask me on that Adobe Connect. So I will share the link with all of you on your email address. I hope that your email addresses are already shared and you have already shared this information. Okay, so I will take it from Anu, who has communicated you about this training, and I will share this information with all of you. Okay, so you please join this Adobe Connect And in case if you are finding any problems in implementing any of the concept, you please let me know so that I can help you. From tomorrow, we are going to start the concept of Angular JS, and Tuesday and Wednesday, both the days we have to learn Angular JS only. So 8 hours, I think it is more than enough. Okay. Tomorrow I'll take 4 hours, and Wednesday also I'll take 4 hours. So it is more than enough. We can complete the Angular JS very easily. And one more thing, that from tomorrow onwards I will start the session on time. I was waiting for the participants to join today, and I started the session at 9:40. But tomorrow I will not wait. Okay. And guys, this Angular JS is really a very critical concept. If you miss the beginning, you will not be able to catch up. Okay. So please don't miss the session. And from tomorrow onwards we are going to start Angular JS, and please join the session on time. Okay. Rameshwari is saying I didn't share the email ID. You didn't share the email ID while sending your nominations, Rameshwari? I don't think so. While sending the nominations, you didn't share your information, your email address and all? Okay. Yeah, that time only I am talking about. If you have shared that time, then I will get it from Anu. Okay, who has organized this training, and I'll get it from him, and I will send you that link on that of Adobe Connect on your email address. Okay, so you can take my email address also in case if you need any help or any suggestions. You can write to me on my email address also. It's dheeraj.kumar@niit.com. Okay, this is my email address. Okay, fine. So please note down my email address. This is my email address, and in case if you need any help and support, you can write to me on this email address. Okay. Okay, from Ambattur Center, you are saying we have shared the email ID while nomination, but we didn't get any mail. So no problem. Now, if you didn't get any mail, there is no problem. Can you share the Adobe link to this mail ID? Have you shared this particular email address during the nomination, Uday Kiran? Whatever email address you have shared at the time of sending the nomination, I will send it on that email address. Obviously, right now I will not be able to note down the email address for everybody, no? Okay. So whatever email address you guys have shared at the time of sending the nomination, I'll share the link on that email address only. Okay. So that's it from my side today, and again I'm requesting that please join the session on time, and tomorrow I will start the session at sharp 9 o'clock. Okay. And if you miss the session, then it will be very difficult for you to catch up, and you will not be able to understand any concepts of Angular JS. So just immediately starting a session, I will start explaining the concept, and I will start creating the demo. So please don't miss, otherwise it will be difficult for you. Okay. So that's it from my side today. Thank you so much. I'll be available between 1:30 to 3:30 on Adobe Connect, and I'll share the link with all of you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.